13 after 5 as we continue to build up to the national shutdown this coming Monday. We're getting reaction from the police. We've been getting reaction from unions. Let's continue to do that. Several organizations slamming this planned shutdown by the EFF, but the General Industrial Workers Union of South Africa is singing a different tune. Let's get the thoughts then of the union's president, Mametlwe Sebei, joining us this afternoon. Mametlwe, hello to you, and I appreciate you taking time to speak to us this afternoon. So you're in support of the EFF national shutdown. Tell me why.
Well, the SAF2 National Executive Committee took a decision to participate, and in participating, what they've made clear is that they are participating on the basis of our own independent class and political program of demands which agree, of course, with number of demands that have been raised by the EFF, but also there are areas of differences where we say that we are not just tailing behind the EFF, but raising a number of issues that goes further than what the EFF is raising.
And give me a sense of what those issues are, because respectfully, I think many people would expect a union like Giwusa to be airing their own concerns, but when it comes to the size of an EFF national shutdown, your voice could get lost in all of this.
The fact of the matter is that our starting point is that there are twin problems, source of the problems of the working class in this country, is concentration of the wealth into few monopolies that are dictating whether we work, whether we staff, that are driving the economy to the ground, that are responsible for devastating levels of unemployment, for devastating levels of poverty, for a cost of living crisis, and many other problems that are faced by the working class in this country. And the neoliberal program of the ANC that has collapsed public service, that has commodified access to electricity, access to water, let us make sure that ESCOM is privatized, but also is plundered and looted to a state at which it is, and the working class are paying the price with that, with a relentless blackouts as well as astronomical levels of tariff increases. So for that reason, we are saying that the ANC is a problem, not just Ramaphosa, and what we are saying is that the entire ANC must go out, but also we are saying that we must bring an end to a private ownership and monopoly over commanding halves of the economy, including the mines, the factories, the banks, and all the key sectors of the economy, because that's ultimately the only way that you can end the crisis of unemployment, of load shedding, but also of poverty and cost of living crisis.
I'm glad you mentioned the economy. Economists and financial experts are expecting this national shutdown to cost our economy 1.2 billion rand on the day. How do you justify being part of a strike that's expected to cost the country 1.2 billion rand?
Have you seen the figures about what a relentless blackouts costs this economy? It has devastated many sectors, but not to mention also the lives of ordinary working class poor people. And I think we have to get to a point where even those comrades, I think on the left, who I've seen a number of their criticism, have got to start to appreciate the levels of desperation faced by young people who are suffering from over 75% unemployment. The reality, which means what? Young people waking up without any school to go to, without any work, without absolutely nothing to do, and their lives have been wasted away. And this is the reason that we are seeing an increases, not only in the levels of drug and alcohol abuse, but extreme violence, including gender-based, including xenophobia, but also including a phenomenon of mass shooting that reflect the alienation of many young people that do not have a future in this country, and for whom this country is becoming one hell of a catastrophe, a nightmare without an end. And that is the reason that we say we must take this government out, but not only this government, the entire system, because ultimately any government that comes to power on the base of capitalism in this period of the crisis in particular, it cannot manage this country other than by means of a brutal austerity on the working class and brutalization and violence against the working class and the poor.
Do you get the sense then that this is going to change the hearts and minds of South Africans for next year's general elections? Because you'll agree with me, I'm sure, a strike on Monday, a shutdown on Monday is not going to get the ANC government out of power. The elections will do that. So will this boost the chances of removing the ANC from government next year?
Well, we do think that the only way that we're going to remove the ANC and the only way that this action is going to be meaningful is if it is only a beginning of a unity of the wider sections of the workers, of the poor, of the young people, in a sustained movement of working class resistance against all of these crises, but also that beyond this action, we are saying the working class, and we are calling on SAFTU to reconvene the extended steering committee, the extended steering committee of the Working Class Summit, where we can contemplate and begin to organize for an all working class assembly, where we'll convene all the movements and mass organizations of the working class to discuss the next step forward in terms of how do we intensify, how do we escalate this movement, but also discuss the political strategy for the movement. Because ultimately, it's only on the basis of an independent working class alternative armed with a clear socialist program that we can be able to end the crisis of unemployment, of cost of living, but also to ensure a quality access to free basic services, including education, water, health, and all these things that, of course, are collapsing under the ANC. And this is because government has been cutting corporate tax and redistributing massive wealth from the public services, from the working class to the rich and big corporations that dominate the economy.
Just as I say goodbye to you, Mametlwe, give me your sense then of the reports we've been hearing. I'm sure you would have seen them, that businesses are being forced to shut down this coming Monday. They're being intimidated into shutting down. What do you make of the reports? Do you agree with that sort of tactic?
Well, we don't agree. I mean, we think, and we've always said that we're going to conduct the struggle on the basis of, absolute discipline and spirit of nonviolence. We are entering this movement to force a conversation with society, to force a conversation with the working class. Is only by means of patient explanation and, of course, persuasion of the great majority of the working class people in this country that we can bring about the necessary fundamental social transformation. Because ultimately, it's the working class and nobody else that can emancipate this country. And we believe that any mass revolutionary movement would be on the basis of voluntary participation and democratic movement of the working class. And we can't force people into making change in their own lives and their own conditions of living.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you again as we get closer to Monday and on Monday itself. Mametlwe, thank you very much indeed for making time for us this afternoon. Mametlwe Sebei from the General Industries Workers Union of South Africa, or Giwusa, if you prefer the acronym on that. He is the president of the union.